friends, it's Nancy. I've got a couple of things I want to share with you today. So first of all, I've finished the Rose Growers Treasury junk journal, and I'm working on this little one. It's just 4 by 6, and I've got a lot of the work done in it. So I've chosen the pages, I've got it reinforced, it's ready to go. But the surprising thing about it is, here is the inscription. To Nellie from her brother James, in affectionate remembrance of her birthday, April 1877. So I've kept the original frontispiece with the photo illustration as a tip out to this page. I've kept some of the original pages. This is the title page. It was in pretty rough shape, so I've backed it with another page. It was actually the inside fly leaf, and made a tag out of it that looks sort of like an index card, and I've just put it inside this little glassine bag. So I haven't got it put together yet, but I am well on to the work of getting that done, and I just think it's such a sweet little size and really interesting graphics on the front. It's about 1 inch across, and it has an embossed back, so I've been working on that. Okay, so let's do a little flip through of this one. So I did what I said I was going to do. I used this fabric as a tie, but instead of using the brooch to close it, well, that was a pain. My entire setup just crashed. Okay. Anyway, but instead of closing it with the pin, I ran the pin through the fabric and glued the fabric down to the front because it just wasn't very stable. Anyway, so as I mentioned in earlier videos, I've got 7 signatures. Spine is just shy of 2 inches across, and it's one of those curved hidden spines. I've got lace and a little bit of cheesecloth, both ends of the header. Some lace, some beads, some charms, and yeah, well, let's get into it. So I've used a piece of vintage linen with a crocheted rose. This was the inscription on this tag. There's a book plate there. Original title page. Some tea-dye paper with a little collage. This is a little matchbook. And I left the top open to put a little tag in there. That tag is a little bigger than... Yeah, everything's too big to fit in there that I have at hand. Anyway, you can tuck something in there. Tea-dyed ledger paper. Here's a little booklet that has pages you can put journaling in. In this pocket with some stenciling. Original book page. Here's an envelope and a tag that has a poem. A Robbie Burns poem. That's the center of this first signature. Another little pocket. This is a vintage, I believe 1940s green card that I've made into a little booklet there. Folded over this side of the ledger paper to make a pocket. This has a journaling card in there. Little collage. Some more stenciling. Little tuck spot there. And into the second signature, have a heart, some sort of a stone heart, with a lace tab. Here's a little pocket made out of a business reply card from a nursery, and a journaling card that I made. Some vintage, it's thicker than tracing paper, but it has a graph on it. This is a vintage paper placemat that I folded in half. Here's some pages from a gardening catalog. Some tea-dyed paper, and you can see, maybe you can see, yeah, I think you can see in this shot that I've used plastic tablecloth with lace tablecloth to get this design. Here's another envelope, has a little pocket on the front with a tag, and the back has a journaling card. Book page, and then we're getting the back of everything. So I've used this vintage lace there. Here's another advertisement for a gardening catalog, and I've just done a little collage on there. And here's a double tag that you can journal inside. I used a decoupage napkin on that, and this is original book pages from the book. And now we're into the third signature. Here's another little bulb pin that has a bead on it, and the bead looks like there's a teeny tiny rosebud in here. I don't know if that's going to show up or not. And a little bit of stenciling. Some eyelet lace. I love gingham. Here's a page from a old calendar, and I've done another little tuck spot here on the back. I think there's another tuck spot. This is a long policy envelope that I've made these tags for. And it's got a little bit of fabric and a button and a lace as a tab. Here's a little poem, and I put a fussy cut rose there just to decorate it. Another fussy cut rose. Another fussy cut rose. You can certainly tuck something in there if you like. And this is from a gardening catalog, and I've got some vintage rickrack there. This is another pendant that I put on a bulb pin on this lace tab. And here's the folded ledger. I made this journaling card to pop in there, and I really like how these colors really go together. So the index card sort of matches the horizon, and then there's the red flower, the red roses. Here's another little matchbook that has several sheets of paper in there to write things down on. And again, I left the top open to tuck. Another journaling card. And tag. Here, another journaling card. I just think that image goes really well with the green envelope. And a little journaling card. Here's a little collage, but it can also be a tuck spot. And here's a vintage doily that I attached to this magazine page, and here's a little tag, whoops, and the tab is fabric and a piece of doily that I've sewn on there. I think that's pretty. This has been sewn down as well. You can see the stitching on this edge. Tea-dye paper. And now we're into the 5th signature. I feel like I left a spot here. I think there is a spot there, but it's very narrow. That you can tuck some, well, you can definitely tuck something in there. And a fabric ruffle with some vintage crocheted lace there. So there's lots of places for journaling, and having the black and white images on these center pages. I mean, you can adhere other things on top, and the black and white images aren't going to, you know, just be too distracting. Here's another envelope, and I just made this simple card out of some decorated stationery and some cardstock with a little bit of crocheted lace. And here's another little verse and a fussy cut rose. 6th signature, have another little bead here. This pearl is kind of a pinky color and a clear bead on this lace tab. So here I have a little bulldog clip that I've treated with salt, vinegar, and hydrogen peroxide to get this rusty quality to it. This is a little coin envelope that I've decorated with some collaging. So the top can just flip right over there and reattach it. Oh, I went over 2 pages. Here's another little tuck spot with a collage. I really like how this color rose matches in with the printed type here. And here's a little girl. It looks like she's eating strawberries and cream under pink roses. And another verse journal card tucked in there. And this is a journaling card. Another little tuck spot. Some vintage crochet trim. And the final signature is another lace tab. This is a pocket I made from an order form for a nursery catalog, and I included this fussy cut and this little verse, and again I've got one of those double tags that I made. This was a black white image that I used my watercolor pencils to color. Just added this little collage here. I think it's really pretty, and that includes a tag in it, so I just hung the tag off the side. This is vintage wrapping paper, and I've added this little die cut mason jar that I made, and another journal card. So I used a little bit of eyelet lace to make the pocket, and another fabric ruffle with some crocheted trim. The last tag and envelope. This one has another doubled tag in it. Here's another little tiny doily. It has like a fabric center. So I just use a rusty pin to pin that down, and put a little mason jar in there that I made. You can see I stitched around the mason jar, and I used vintage book page to make that. Tied a little bit of string. This has another little verse. Here's a tag that I made out of a clothing tag. Oops. Here's another tuck spot. This one is a tag, but it's got a little bit of muslin, coffee dyed muslin run through it. And on the back is another piece of vintage linen, and I've tucked this journaling card in it. So it's quite thick. That's why there's a lot of journaling tucks and not a lot of extra stuff put in it, because I'm not sure how much this whole thing would hold. So this fabric is exactly the right length. Sorry, got my bunny ears in the wrong direction. To make a bow. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the final stages of my Rose Growers journal. If you have any questions or comments about it, please leave it in the comments below. If you're a subscriber to my channel, thank you. And if you're not, why not subscribe, and you'll get notified when I add new videos, whether it be tutorials or flip-throughs or vintage hauls from yard sales and thrift stores and estate sales. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, how it all turned out. I'll just give you a little closer look at that brooch. It's silver in color, which is why I chose silver beads, or sorry, bulb pins for the side, and has little pink jewels in the center. All the jewels are there, there's none missing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be sure to come back soon and give you a final flip through of this one. Take care, we'll talk soon.